Next up, this is from space.com. The FCC just gave Reflect Orbital permission to launch its first space mirror to orbit. Tens of thousands more could follow. Now, yes, California-based startup Reflect Orbital just got a license from the FCC to launch and operate its first demo satellite that will unfurl a reflective surface that measures about 18 meters on a side. And so it's going to fly later this year. And they want to operate 50,000 or more of those in low Earth orbit by 2035, beaming reflected sunlight down to a variety of customers on the surface. We'll see. I mean, imagine the endless possibilities when sunlight is not limited by geography or time of day. And what does that do to the day-night cycle in your body when that happens?
Oh my God.
You know?
What could possibly go wrong? That's what we said the first time we saw these guys.
Yep.
And I'm going to say it every single time. What could go wrong?
Well, you know, the people who are pissed the most at this, astronomers.
Yeah, of course they
They're
are.
going nuts. They're absolutely losing their shit over this. I don't blame
they
them.
should. Right, absolutely. I also am not a big fan of these nerds taking the name of the elves' favorite star, Arendelle, as the name of their satellite. That is a Lord of the Rings reference. It's yet another one. There's you know, Andoril and Palantir and Mithril. Right. They're all like working their way into the space sector, and I'm not loving it. Not loving that. But 50,000 little pinpricks of light shining down. Maybe it's 50,000 different targets. Maybe it's, 500 multiple targets. Yeah. But do you want to be the neighbor of one of those targets? Yeah.
Well, if they all collect together and aim at the one place, they could aim at North Korea, because we know what that looks like at night. Do it solid. Hey, it's dark there. Let me help you out.
We're here to help. We're here to help. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway. All right. Moving on. We're not going to get through this. Okay. How many astronauts should live in NASA's lunar outpost? Trying to figure out how to staff this thing. They say the worst case scenario consists of 4 astronauts on the moon at one time, only 1 month resupply window between Earth and moon, and moderate to high adverse environmental probabilities. Oh dear. And so I guess they did this study on mission design. And they're doing a study that allows astronauts to work together well in a way independent from their psychological training. It was trying to identify specific conditions for mission success and look for the red flags. So I don't know what a computational social scientist is, but apparently she's the principal investigator. And they said they considered all sorts of scenarios about how many would be on the moon base and how often resupply missions would occur in an initial case. And so, but the model astronauts in their scenario apparently showed a productivity rate of about 20% against their expected tasks.
Oh,
which is acceptable for a typical manufacturing process. But that productivity rate doesn't take into account anything unexpected that could crop up. So the low task completion rate.
I would think there would be a lot of unexpected in that environment.
I would think so too, especially the first rotation or two. But the low task completion rate success on average suggests that on average, teams are having challenges to overcoming psychological stressors and environmental disruptions. And so,
the rule here is have more than 5, have more than 4 people, right?
Yep. Yeah, they used a lot of data from ISS to try to do a reference utilization metric. And found over time, what, 30 years now, NASA has met or exceeded, the goals, the original goals that they had. And the original goal was 68.5 hours if there are 4 or more people per week of research, and they actually exceeded that a couple of times of 120 average hours per week.
Okay.
So that's really what it's all about. It's just a key kind of physiological and psychological study, and they're still working on it.
I'm a little surprised that folks are not using Mars Desert Research Station data more than I typically see. They've been doing it for 25 years, and yes, I know Mars isn't the moon, and yes, I know space LARPing isn't fully scientific, but there's a lot of smart stuff that happens out there in the desert in Utah, and I feel like as I read this study, they only have maybe part of the picture, and I guess that's the data source of looking at the ISS, but I don't think that feels complete to me. That's my thinking. I'm not the social scientist that's going to know these answers, but
right. Well,
it felt like the sample was a little bit skewed.
Yeah. Well, I have like 4 things left to do, but we've run out of time, so I'm going to do this last one. This is one for last. The U.S. apparently wants to build offshore rocket launch sites, and there's a bunch of critics coming out saying the coast deserves better. This is also at space.com if you want to find it. And so the government is looking into launching commercial rockets from sea-based launch sites, and they're looking at the outer continental shelf. And that area that extends in some places as much as 200 nautical miles offshore. So you might be able to build a facility like that, and you might not even see much of it until it actually launches something.
Love that.
It's out far enough, especially at night. But they're lauding the development of facilities. At least one ocean conservancy group says the plan could have disastrous effects on the ocean. And so a lot of people are unhappy.
That is so ridiculously untrue.
Yeah.
It's hard to not get sucked into the emotion of it. But
well, again, some of it, there is some, I hate to say it, but it's here in the article. And so it's a little bit of TDS extends into this. Because they're saying space junk and rocket explosions have already been trashing our coastal wildlife refuges, and now Trump wants to expand that destruction farther into the ocean. And so, and so it's likely another Trump excuse for allowing the oil industry to leave its rusty old junk in the ocean and avoid imposing regulations on the energy sector. This guy is saying this stuff with a straight face. And so,
right, and they believe it because we in the industry do not do a very good job of differentiating the cowboy billionaires that get all the headlines from the people that are in the trenches doing the work and actually moving humanity forward. It's so ridiculous. I'm going to wave my blue flag for a second and say it's so ridiculous that the environmental community has never embraced the space community, because they've got the same mission. They really do. But the billionaire boys club has kind of tainted this water, and I don't know that we'll ever win over the blues, but the Greens. I'm going to call them the environmental community, the Greens. But it's frustrating. You see an article like that, and there's just so much. It's such obvious agenda that it's hard to look past and say, okay, what's their real complaint, and how do we address it? but
Yeah.
they've already made up their minds. So
Yeah,
I know
that's pretty much it. That's pretty much
Yeah.
it. Okay. Now it's going to be
shout out to Tom Murata and the Spaceport Company, because they are definitely leading the changeover.